We are back on Create with Kate, and I'm excited for our guest today. We met a little over a year ago at one of my first real estate events, and we've been following each other on social media. He is in Vegas finally, and I'm very excited to have him on the show today. We have Sal Sortino. I want to call him Salvatore. But yeah, so excited to have you. Sal is a real estate investor, specializes in Section 8 and has a coaching program that's going to be launching July 1st. And we're going to talk all about it and some more fun stuff today.
I'm excited to be here.
So, how long have you been doing real estate?
I've been in real estate. I started my first real estate company in 2016.
Okay, so that's been
8 years.
8 years. Okay,
Yeah.
so you were pretty much, you didn't really do anything else, right? Or did you?
No, I did. Well, when I say I started my first real estate company, right, I bought a rental property.
Okay.
Right. I bought it on a land contract deal. At that time, I just dropped out of college.
Okay, so you did go to college.
I did briefly.
And what were you just going just to go?
I was going to appease my parents.
Okay.
You know? Yeah, my parents really wanted me to go. Neither of my parents had went to college, so I think in their mind,
it was a big deal.
Yeah, in their mind, that was the right thing to do. They didn't know what college was. Their description of what they thought college was absolutely not the case.
Right.
In their mind, it's funny to me when I think about it. Like for them, what they thought college was college is where you really go to learn what you're going to do, like in that field, right? And I knew I wanted to get into real estate. Actually, I didn't know in what capacity or whatnot.
Because your mom was already in real estate.
My mom was a
point?
part-time real estate agent.
Part-time, okay.
And my grandfather was a successful.
That's right, your grandfather.
Yeah, was a successful real estate developer in the commercial side of things.
Okay.
So I just knew that real estate was an avenue to get where I wanted to be in life. That's really it though. But their idea of college was that's where you go learn everything you need to learn about getting into business or whatever it might be. And really, when I got there, it was, at least for the year and a half I was in college, it was just high school, just harder. So I was like, and then what happened was I'm telling my mom and my dad, I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I want to get out of here. And I remember coming home and we put a list together of things I wanted to learn. And I wanted to learn about like borrowing money, like real business, I don't remember what all was on the list, but I remember borrowing money was on there specifically because I was infatuated with the idea that I could borrow money and pay it back over 30 years in real estate. I remember learning that and I was just mind blown. So like, I want to learn all about how to do that. And there's a list of other things. Went to the counselor at the college. And she literally told me, she's like, you're not going to learn any of this here. Yeah. You're going to learn this once you're in the field or whatnot. And I was like, that's all you had to say. Went home and never went back. So,
wow.
Yeah.
But then you got to work right away.
Yeah, I did. Like I said, I was obsessed with real estate. So I'd bought a duplex land contract, spent pretty much every dollar I had on a down payment, which at the time was like 10 grand, maybe a little less. I actually put 2 Section 8 tenants in those 2 units. It was a duplex because my mom had said, like, that's the way to do it. She had one rental where she had a voucher holder tenant. Technically, Section 8 is considered voucher holder tenants now, right? So she had one. She's like, this is what you should do. I'm like, okay, let's do it. I don't know what I'm doing, right? So I just learned on the go. Long story short, I was basically netting about $1,000 a month from that one deal. Because my payment was like $500 a month.
Wow.
Each unit's rented for, over $1,000. So I ended up making it ended up after all expenses, I was making like $1,000 a month. And I was like, well, if I did this 20 more times, now I got 20,000 a month coming in. That could really do something for me. So, so I was like, how do I get there as quickly as possible? And that's just when the wheel started turning. At that time, I was working for my family business, which my grandfather owns a hotel and a couple of restaurants up there in Sandusky. And I was doing the same thing that I've been doing since I was, when you grow up in a family business, like my family's an immigrant family from Italy. So, we run it like a real family business, might check you into the hotel, go make your pasta for you and then make you a drink, you do everything across the board. So, but just quickly realized, I wouldn't say quickly, it seems quickly when I look back at it, but at the time it was a hard decision to make that I was not gonna work with them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually like a tough decision of mine at the time because I was young and didn't know what I was really gonna do.
Right.
But I just knew that I want to do my own thing, you know.
So, and you were about what, 21,
Mhm.
22, 21?
21.
Okay.
Yep.
So, I mean, how did you, I think many people that are listening to this
Yeah.
or watching would be like, well, how did you know that?
Yeah.
You know, like how did
Know
you
what? How did I know what?
that you wanted to like go out on your own, and
Mhm.
and how did you have the belief in
Yeah.
yourself to really do it?
It's a great question. I sometimes look back at and I laugh at how confident I was because I'm
Mhm.
like, I didn't really have a reason to be that confident.
But you were.
I know
Yeah.
I was. And the first thing that comes to mind really is I had a great mom. You know, I have a great
Mm-hmm.
mom. And I think she instilled confidence in me from the time I was a kid, and always believed in everything I
Yeah.
did. And I think whether the confidence was deserving or not, I owe her a lot of credit for that. Because she just always made me. My parents have been divorced since I was 2 years old. So,
Yeah.
you know, I would come back and tell her, you know, what's going on when I'm working with my dad's family, and she's like, you know, you gotta do what you think's best for you.
Mhm.
And basically said, you know, I'd have her support in whatever decision I made. And you know, I talked a lot of talks with her is what gave me the confidence to really make that decision to kind of do my own thing. I also knew that although I know everything takes hard work, right? Everything takes hard work. I knew I didn't feel like I needed to wait to enjoy the fruits of my labor until I was 60, 70 years
Right.
old. You know, the old school mentality of you gotta work. And then one
Mhm.
day,
Yeah.
you know, you
Yeah.
can enjoy that. You know, I've really felt that I could expedite all of that with the resources and knowledge that I felt I could, I felt I had at the time. When I look back, I had none, right?
Yeah.
But I just wanted it quicker. You know, I felt like I if anyone could do it, I could do it. Yeah, and that's what gave me the confidence to go out and do it. So
At, you know, 21, 22,
Mhm.
most young men
uh-huh.
have other priorities.
Yeah.
Like partying and I don't
Mhm.
know, whatever else you do
Yeah.
when you're young, right?
Yeah.
So did you have to make a lot of sacrifices, or did you feel like you still were able to like be a young guy and still learn and grow?
When it comes to sacrifices in that way, I wouldn't say I felt that way because I knew what I wanted in life. You know, I feel like I really had the best upbringing possible.
Mhm.
When it comes to the type of childhood that I think your childhood is super important. I think that molds you a lot.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and I think about my childhood and the way I grew up. I was exposed to a lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of everything in
Mhm.
between. And I think what that does is it shows you like what you want, what you don't want.
Right.
So I knew at a young age that I wanted to live like this guy and not like this guy.
Mhm.
And I was really, I would say I was obsessed with business from the time I was probably like 14 on.
Okay.
So for me, when I was getting started, I was excited. It wasn't even felt like I need to go out and party with my friends. Even though I did do that,
Yeah.
especially for the year I was in college,
Yeah.
year and a half. But no, I didn't really feel like I was sacrificing in that aspect because I just really wanted it. Like I
Mhm.
wanted that. I wanted to be a businessman. You
Yeah.
know, I always did. Because like I said, my grandpa was the
Mhm.
successful guy that I got to see.
That was your dad's dad?
My dad's dad.
Okay.
Yeah, he was an immigrant from Sicily, an amazing businessman, and I just watched him and really wanted to be like him.
Okay.
And that's really what it all stemmed from. You know, is really
Yeah.
knowing what I wanted and knowing that the sooner I started, the sooner I could get there.
Does your dad do the same thing?
My dad works for my grandpa.
He does. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So, do you feel like your dad instilled a lot of confidence in you too, or more so your grandfather? I guess that's kind of a personal question, but
no, it's okay. I mean, I love my dad,
Yeah.
but I'd say my dad instilled a work ethic in me.
Okay.
For sure. Both my parents did.
Yeah.
My dad's definitely always been a hard worker. The confidence thing, though, definitely. I'd give the credit to my mother. You know, when you have divorced parents, you do kind of. I mean, I felt like I was with my mom a lot growing up. You know,
Mhm.
so she definitely taught me a lot. But like I said, my dad taught me a lot as well, just in a different way. The confidence thing, though, I think is my mom, because I know for a fact my dad would probably have arguments with. I think there was a funny story my mom tells that, when I was playing basketball when I was a kid, she would say, she would talk to my dad and be like, "Yeah, you have the kid thinking that he's this good, but he's really this good." So
that's what your dad would say. Yeah,
he'd kind of bring me down to reality.
But no, I think that's important.
Yeah, you need both sides of it. Yeah,
because I believe I'm probably like your mom. Like, if you believe you can do it, you can.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Like, or you can get really close.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you have a better chance of getting to where you want to go with that type of belief system than one that's more realistic.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That just reminds me of a quote. I don't know. Do you know Russ? He's the rapper, Russ. You know him?
No.
All right. Well, you should listen to his music.
Okay.
He's
a rapper. I don't
but
typically listen to rap.
But he's not like what your typical rapper that you probably think in your head. Okay. He's an Italian dude, but he has a quote. He was on a podcast, and how'd it go? He said, the worst advice he ever got was be realistic.
Right.
And the best thing that he was ever told was, what if it turned out better than you could ever imagine? And I thought that was like beautiful. The best. Yeah. I love so
that.
True. Yeah.
It is, because I think that's the worst thing you could say to anyone is be realistic.
Yeah.
Like, what have you ever heard that's great where somebody was like, yeah, I got here because I was realistic. Yeah. Nobody has ever said that ever.
Exactly.
Like it's always the bold moves and like the crazy ideas, right? That make history. I don't know. Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you want to be ordinary, that's one thing. If you want to be extraordinary, you got to
you got to be different.
You can't be realistic.
No, you got to be different than the rest.
Exactly.
So there's a bunch of talk right now online about masculinity and men that grew up without fathers. I know you had your father, but it sounds like you were in your mother's house more.
Yeah.
So the take on that, I think, is that you, like, men that don't have their father around as much kind of struggle in taking the lead is kind of how I'm interpreting these discussions. So what are your thoughts on that?
So you're saying that men that grew up without their fathers
in the home, struggle to like lead in like themselves in their life, get into good relationships, and then be like great husbands and fathers.
Yeah. So, I, like you said, I don't think I could fit that category because my dad was very much in my life. Just, you know what I mean?
Just didn't live in the home.
Yeah. But what I'll say is, if I do think that, I think there is some sort of a disadvantage, when you don't have your father at home, for sure. I think you're always looking for somewhat of a role model in terms of whether it's someone you want to be like or someone you don't want to be like, right? Whether it's good or bad.
Did your mom have boyfriends?
Yeah, I had a stepdad.
Okay.
Most of my life as well. A great man as well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, for sure. I was blessed.
Yeah.
I had.
So you had multiple male role models.
A ton. Like. I could tell you, again, when I think about my childhood, I think it was the ideal childhood for someone to be a confident, entrepreneurial type of person. When I really think about it, just because, my background was so my parents got divorced when I was young. My dad's side, like I said, a successful family. My mom's side, not that they were, poor, but it was two different lifestyles, right?
Sure.
Definitely two different lifestyles from dad's side to mom's side, right? Then I also have a brother, older brother who's special needs, has brain damage. So I grew up around a lot of kids like him.
Yeah.
I think that I owe a lot to who I am today, I think, because of growing up with a person like my brother's name is Giorgio. Yeah. You learn a lot about like just humility and patience and really not really caring about what people think
of you.
Yeah, because you do a lot of things that are not normal to other people, so I grew up with that.
And you're constantly being judged, right? Like anywhere you go, if someone looks different in any way, then people are judging.
Oh,
so
yeah, for sure.
You were used to that and it was not a big deal.
Yeah. And I kind of can tell right away, right? Like, if someone, like if you see someone that might be disabled, you know, specifically like mentally disabled in some way, right? And you're around a group of people, you're in the same you're interacting, right? You can kind of tell like who has been around, you know, people like them, or who, I don't know who. You can just tell. It's hard to explain, but I can just tell when someone has a different level of like respect for that family, right? Because I know what it takes, you know, to be in a family with someone that struggles like that, or not even struggles, but just has those disabilities, right?
Yeah.
So, but that definitely had a big impact on, I think, who I am today when I look back at it. But also, you know, I grew up. My stepfather was a black man, so like I'd go up to go holidays. I'm the only white kid there, right? so you know, you just see all cultures, all walks of life. You know, I grew up like very diverse. You know, so I think it all, just when I think about it all, it's like I'm like a melting pot of all these different influences on my life. So,
is your mom Italian too?
Yep.
Okay, so your dad was Italian and your mom.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Mom and dad both Italian. Yeah. But yeah, no, but when it comes back to what you're asking, I think there's got to be some sort of disadvantage with that, with not having a father in the picture. I'm so big on exposure. Like I've probably said it like 3 times already. So I think in my later years, I would like to be that for a lot of the youth that doesn't have a father. You know, I think that's so important. So I think in some way, you don't know what you can accomplish until you see it.
Right.
You know, once you see it, then you really believe it. Because once especially when you see someone you know, you know, so when you don't see someone you know accomplishing those things, I can imagine it's a lot harder. It's hard for me to say because, like I said, my grandfather was that guy for me. I saw him live the life, you know, that I wanted to live. And I knew, quite honestly, if he could do it, there's no reason that I couldn't. You know, he came over on a boat from Sicily. So,
is he still around today?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I was just playing craps with him yesterday.
What's his name?
Giorgio as well.
Oh, Giorgio.
Yeah, he goes by George, but so my brother's named after him.
Yeah, such Italian names.
Yeah.
Giorgio and
Salvatore.
Wait, what's your last name again?
Sortino.
Yeah, that's like so Italian. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is.
I love it. So, and then your dad was also Giorgio?
No, my dad's Michele.
Okay. Oh, I've never heard that name.
Yeah, so it's spelled like Michelle.
Is it Miguel?
Kind of like the Italian version, but it's spelled like Michelle, so Michele. So a lot of times people look at his ID and say Michelle.
Yeah.
Technically, I think it's pronounced Michele is what it is, and then he goes by Mike though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That's funny. And what's your mom's name?
My mom is Tarina.
Tarina.
Like Marina with a T.
And that's Italian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Sidotti is her last name.
Oh my gosh. That's wild.
Italian across the board.
I love it. Yeah. I'm sure your family dinners are so loud.
Oh, they are. Yeah, even when it's just my mom there. Yeah, it's loud.
Because I know, like, I'm only like 30% Italian, and like our house on that side of the family is like super loud. Like everyone like talks at the same time.
It's crazy. And it seems normal until someone else comes in.
And then they're like
wow, this is a lot.
This is a lot. Yeah, it's true. It is a lot. But no, I love it. I mean, I think that family is like the most important thing, I think. And sounds like you obviously you have a positive attitude, which you're probably born with, and your mother was a great influence. But you didn't let whatever could have been seen as, you know, a negative in your life. You turned everything into a positive.
Well, my mom, again, I'd give all the credit to who I am to my mom, 100%. Just because I look at her and it's like, you know, she was, especially like now, because a lot has changed in the last like 5 years, 5 to 7 years, really, because we started a business together. Yeah. And then from that point on, my mom, that's when she became a full-time real estate agent. She quit her day job. That's when it was kind of like the new chapter opened up, and our lives both kind of changed at the same time. We kind of had our come-ups at the same time, which is very, very cool. And I admire her for that. I mean, you know, it took her into her, you know, 40s to really experience that and do that. And, you know, to think that she she had a child like my brother who that's a full-time job on its own.
Right.
When I think that she managed that, got through that, had the positive attitude the whole way, and to be where she's at now, like I can't think of a better person to learn from than seeing that, you know? So
what did she say about that? Like, how did she get through with that?
Or
when did she know that?
Well, it was that like my brother was disabled, or
did she like know? Early
I would love for you to
on,
talk to I think my mom should be famous, so I really do. So I don't mind talking about her. So I think she should 100% be famous. But so my brother's older than me, and it's a pretty crazy story. It's kind of an emotional story. But she when they went in to have my brother, it was not like expected. Like a lot of times, you like have tests done, you might know that your child might have a disability or of some sort. So it was supposed to be a normal, regular birth. And to my knowledge, that there was a malpractice issue that came up after. So it was actually a mistake that happened. Yep, kept my mother in labor too long. So my brother had a brain injury.
Oh no.
Yep. So, but when he was born, the really crazy part is, they brought the priest in when he was born because they thought he was going to die. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They flighted him. And to my knowledge, this is again, I wasn't there, so I'm only relying off the stories that I was told. Obviously, he ended up making it through. And from that day forward, my mom just said that she became obsessed with just being the best parent to a child like that. So she would read books. She would like just became obsessed. Like that was her job. Like was to make, his life as quote unquote normal or as possible. And there's a lot of stories that I think she should tell, but there are some that I don't mind sharing. Like the fact that my brother, he didn't talk much, right? So he didn't talk until I think he was like, didn't say a word, if I remember, until he might be in like 3-4 years old. So they didn't think he was going to talk.
Yeah.
And we laugh now because my brother does not shut up. He does not shut up, right? And same thing goes for, he didn't walk to the same time, about the same time. And now he doesn't sit down and jumps up and runs all over the place. So it's just really, when they tell the story, it's really an inspiring story that he is the way he is today. But it really is crazy to think that, and then I'm also very grateful, right? Because I can't imagine going through that. I don't have kids, but I can't imagine going through the process of having a child like my brother and have that traumatic kind of experience. And then deciding, well, I'm going to do it again. And then having me, right?
How far apart are you
4 years.
Okay.
So I just think there's a lot of like courage in that,
totally.
by my mom's part. And my dad's, but to go through with that again,
for sure.
But I think all that led to, again, her being the best mom, because I'm sure she felt extremely grateful to have a healthy baby when I was born.
And I think even just your brother surviving, she probably felt like God gave her this opportunity to to be a mom and like let him live. Because she almost thought she wasn't.
I'm
she
sure.
was gonna lose him.
I'm sure.
I'm sure that was like. I mean, it just.
Yeah, it's crazy when I think about it. It really is. But again, I feel like that's why she's so blessed today. You know? She's a great person. My mom falls into. She's a very successful businesswoman today. And she can be emotional, right? I'm not as emotional. I'm more. She's always calling me for. I feel like I'm her personal business advisor, right? She calls me for every single decision she makes, which I love it. Wouldn't want it any other way. But she can be emotional because, how, especially real estate agents, right? Like, especially in small markets, it's like, oh my gosh, like the cool kids club, everyone's talking about you and this and that,
right?
Especially in small markets. In the bigger markets, it's not as glaring, I'd say. But when you're the top dog in a really small market, right, you can feel it. So she, I truly believe that people think that she is fake because she's so nice.
Oh, well, yeah, that's.
So she falls for everyone, like sometimes she gets upset about things, and I'm just like, You can't let that upset you. But she's so nice, and that I think it's a compliment. I'm like, these people think that you're not genuine because you're just that nice.
I used to get that too. Actually, people would say like that I was fake.
Yeah.
And it used to like bother me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's kind of sad, right?
Yeah.
Like, so if you're really nice, then you're fake.
Right.
Like, that's the world that we're living in. Like, come on.
It's sad. That's the truth. Like it's insane. But I try to coach her through it. Like, you can't let that stuff bother you.
Right.
But yeah, she's really special person for sure.
No, I know you talked about her before, like, and she sounds amazing. So I think it's so cool just to hear.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, I'm a mom, so I'm like, I hope my kids talk about me like that one day.
Yeah.
That I like believed in them, and
Yeah, for sure.
Because you just never know.
What's your daughter's name? The one right now that
went viral?
Yes.
We're at 30 million now. Can you believe that?
I've watched that video 100 times. I think that is so funny.
Yeah.
I think the first time I saw it, like, I didn't even realize it was your page. And I'm like, and I'm watching this. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, wait.
I'm not even in
Kate.
it. Yeah. No, she's funny. That's for sure. And she's always been like that, like from the time she was born, seriously. But yeah, I couldn't believe that thing went up to, at 30, it's like 30.5 million right now.
That's crazy.
And it just keeps going,
it's
you
crazy.
know? So
is it on TikTok or Instagram?
No, Instagram.
Which is even crazier.
I know, because that's a lot harder.
Way harder.
I mean, I've never had, I've honestly not seen videos that get that many views.
On Instagram?
To be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. When is what is Ellen DeGeneres still have a show? When is she reaching out?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, why are we not on the Today Show? Like, what the heck?
That's what I was saying.
I mean, she was ready to pack her bags and move out. Yeah. But no, it's crazy. Maybe something will come of it. But I like DM'd some people.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, let's see what we can do. But I don't know if it's because she's not like the original creator of that. Well, I guess actually she's the original creator of her version.
Yeah.
But maybe that's, I don't know. Or because I got some hate because she's like, she said ass, but
oh my God.
Whatever. It's like not that big of a deal. I don't let her go around saying that, but it was just funny because
it's a video. It's like, it's funny.
She thought that is how the song went. Right. So it was good. But no, she's hilarious. And that's one thing that I try to do with both my girls because they're different, right? Like even though they're from the same parents, like they're completely different personalities and they have different skills and strengths and all of that. So I just try to make sure that they like believe in themselves no matter what. And that there's nothing that they can't do. Because I grew up with encouragement, but I would say it was kind of more realistic encouragement. And so I feel like I did put some limitations on myself just because I didn't have like the awareness. You know, once you see things, then that can change your perspective and then the way that you go about your life, which is so important, which is why I love podcasts and social media and all of that, because one video can honestly change someone's life. Like it's kind of crazy, but it's true.
100%. One conversation,
right?
One interaction, like one.
Even just what happened here today, like you're meeting the team, right? And it's like, oh, Susie's investing in your area. Like that's who knew?
Yeah, like exactly. We could do a deal next week.
But that's like how fast it could happen, right? So no, I love that. But I want to go back to what you said about helping like young men and I guess like kind of giving back. I feel like there's a lot of young men nowadays that are struggling and you hear a lot of stories about suicides and even like the shootings and all of this stuff, right? And it's usually like young men. So what, as somebody that, I mean, you are still young, you're almost 30, right? What advice would you give those guys? Like there's something missing, right? Inside of them. There's some type of void. And I don't know. I don't know why they are doing the things that they're doing, or they feel there's no way out. But
yeah, I think you need to talk to people,
yeah.
and that doesn't not necessarily like talk to. I'm not saying go talk to a therapist or something. I'm saying just talk to people. I think a lot of those people, and again, I'm just from my point of view. I think you need to. It's important for people to experience love.
Yeah.
And people that care about you. Just because you have parents or just because you have people around you doesn't mean you've experienced like what real like love
That's
feels
true.
like.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't have that, life can be hard, right? I think you need to find meaningful relationships.
Right.
Otherwise, what do you know? And if you
Yeah.
don't have that, you need to talk to the man upstairs, and get close with God and have a relationship there. I think you need to have a why in life. If you get lost, you got to go find it, right? And if it's whether you're talking, like I said, to God or talking to other people and finding valuable and meaningful relationships, you need those. In my opinion, I think what if I didn't have the people around me that, like I said, I keep talking about my mom or my family, my brother, or people just in my life in general that aren't even necessarily blood family, but I know care about me. I know would do anything for me, unconditional love, right? I could imagine be hard wanting to do good in this world if you didn't have that, So I think it stems from relationships. I really do.
I would agree. And I think just people seeing other people and not I think people like that I just described, feeling like there's no way out. I think they almost feel invisible. And yes, they could put themselves out there too, right? And go talk to people, but it's obviously going to be harder for them.
Yeah.
So
true.
As somebody that isn't in that place, like we can do a better job of like seeing people when we're out and about,
for sure,
and recognizing them, and just
I agree,
just smiling at someone.
Yeah,
it could be something like that small.
Yeah.
But I think everyone gets so busy that we don't do that. Like we don't like take a moment and just.
I agree. I think it's and to be honest, I think it's getting worse, like generationally, like with the younger generation. Funny thing, my mom actually growing up, when I'd go to school every day, she would tell me that I had to give one compliment a day.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So I had to go, when I went to school, I'd have to give someone a compliment. And then she'd always like challenge me to give a compliment to like maybe the not popular girl in school or something, right? And then when I come home, she'd always ask me, what compliment did you give today? And I'd get so annoyed with her. But I think about it. I think
you get so annoyed.
Yeah, I'd get so annoyed. I would get so annoyed. I can just remember a few arguments. Like
this makes me feel better because I feel like my kids get annoyed with me too. But one day maybe they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, this was great."
Yeah, my mom always says that too. One day. But no. But I think if a lot more people had that mentality, for sure, a lot more people would feel more welcomed and more comfortable talking to people.
Right.
Clearly, they aren't comfortable enough to engage in those conversations, and other people are the ones that can change that for them. So yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. I think that one compliment does go a long way. And I also think that you can find something that you like about every single person.
Yeah.
There's always going to, even somebody that maybe you generally don't like, there's something good about them somewhere. Like that's my belief. So I think we can just do a better job of that. And the reason I love helping people like build their personal brands is I think so many people, they feel invisible, number one. Two, they like buried what makes them like unique and special like a long time ago. And I just think that's also part of the problem is we're trying to make everyone the same and we're not supposed to be the same. Like we're all different. And that's what, that's how it's supposed to be, right? Like God made you to be like, even your brother. It's like, he has a story and a message and like an assignment that he's been given. And that's to impact, some lives. Yeah. And that's what we're all here to do. Yeah. And so embracing that instead of seeing it as, something that's negative, which is what your mom did.
Right. Control what you can control. That's what if there's things you can't control, it's out of your hands.
Right. No, it's, yeah. I don't know if you saw, we just lost someone really close to us
I
here
did.
at
I'm
the
sorry to hear
office.
that. Yeah, I did see
And
that.
I'm still a little bit in shock, to be honest. But he was a great example of that. You know, he had skin cancer, and so he was in remission, but like it affected his skin, and you know, so he looked different, right? So then he had to, and we had a discussion about this several times, but like, you know, just going through life now in a different exterior, right? Like, and looking different, which is like, you know what that's like, right? So you experience your life to this point looking the same, or looking normal, quote unquote normal. And then you don't. And so then you get to really see what that is like and how different that is. But then you also get to realize like none of it is really even about the exterior. Like, as long as you just are yourself, like, and you connect on a deeper level, like that's really what it's all about.
For sure.
And that is what he did always. And he always made everyone feel seen. And he changed, you know, a lot of lives because of it.
I could tell just by the post he was a special person. You know, you could tell just what everyone was saying about the guy.
No, I mean, he really was. I only knew him for like a year and a half, but you know, he changed my life. So, and I know that a lot of other people felt like that. So yeah, just to, I guess, to tie all of that together, we have to like allow people to feel seen and heard. So let's transition to real estate.
Okay.
So I don't start crying. But you have, how many rentals do you have now?
I believe right now I have 172 doors total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think 172, maybe 173.
Because you have some that are like multi.
I have multifamily, single family, you know, all 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit, 4 unit. You know, I have a 6 unit, 8 unit, 9 unit, 12 unit, 29 unit, 18 unit. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So on, well, I guess talk about that, because you know how there's kind of like people are like, oh, single family or multifamily.
Yeah.
So let's get into that.
Yeah, we can get into that. It's a great question. I'm still learning. You know, I want to make that very clear. I don't claim to be a know-it-all. I have a lot of rental property. Sometimes I'm shocked. Like I look back, I'm like, this is every day I wake up. To be honest, I look at, you know, my rent roll, and I'm like, this is insane. You know, I remember when I had my first one. But I'm learning more in the last 3. I've learned more in the last 3 years than I'd say I did in the first 5.
Okay.
By far. And it's just, I feel like I would have thought it'd been the opposite, because I feel like I already had a lot of rental property at that point. But now I feel like from this point, this next chapter, I feel like I'm going to learn even more than the last 3.
Yeah.
Just because of where I'm at in my business, like I guess financially, you know, the world opens up of options, right?
Sure.
So now it's like, okay, why does this guy do this? Why does this guy do that?
Yeah.
You know, so right now,
and your access to people, probably.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Exactly.
You know?
Yep. So for the longest time, I want apartment buildings. I want apartment buildings.
Okay.
I want apartment buildings. And I never knew, well, why? Why do I want apartment buildings? You know, is it just because it's sexy to say I own that apartment building, you know? Right. And here I am today. I own, like I said, I named quite a few apartment buildings I own. Where I'm at right now, they're my least favorite thing I own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. My least favorite thing I own.
Yeah. Tell me why.
Well, for me, it's just, number one, they're bought and sold off the income. Okay. So that can be a good and a bad thing. Okay. So I'm in control of the value, because if I increase the income by this much, now it's worth this. But that also means when you're buying, like you can, I pride myself in finding off-market deals. But usually that apartment owner that owns a 30-unit apartment complex, 50-unit apartment complex, usually has a little bit of money, usually is decently savvy. I know there's deals out there, there's unicorn deals. I've even wholesaled some bigger deals like that. But all I'm trying to get to is that you're going to have to pay the price usually if you're buying those deals, meaning my cash flow just won't be as sexy as it will be on a single family. And again, there's people that watch this that are in different markets, you know, where I buy single families. You know, I can buy a single family, like I was telling you before we hopped in here, for $70,000. That's, $15,000 out of my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Cash flow, literally almost $1,000 a month, and get 60-70% returns on my cash, right? That is just mind-boggling when I think about it. And I started with that.
Yeah.
So like I was blessed that like my backyard was that.
Right.
So that's how I started. So everything else was, to most people, that's an anomaly. For me, all the other things everyone else tells me, I'm like, why that's insane. Thank gosh I was born where I was.
Yeah.
Right. But you do see other things, right? For example, I bought a 29 unit 18, the two biggest ones I own. I bought them a year ago, and I knew they were very mismanaged. So I bought it a good price because the income was pretty low. I doubled the income, and now rather than keeping it, which I keep everything typically, I'm like, well, if I sell this, hopefully I'm going to make $1 million profit in a 1 year's time. I can take that money
and invest it in single family
and get a 50-60% cash on cash return.
Okay. So is it like that you're not getting the cash flow isn't as good? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It's not even, it doesn't touch the buildings I bought. I'm not that there's definitely deals out there that can cash flow.
I'm trying to understand so why.
So there's an apartment building, say for example, there's an apartment building right next. Obviously, depending on the zip code, depending on the area, are you familiar with cap rates at all?
No.
Okay, so cap rates are what are typically what multifamily is traded based off of, like what they're sold based off of the capitalization rate. So that's basically the rate of return that the property brings you on your investment. Okay. So if you're in like downtown New York City, right?
Yeah.
There could be things trading at a 4% cap rate, right? Which is really low, right? 3-4%. Maybe even lower. I'm not sure.
What's like a standard?
It might be like on a class B, which is a good asset, 7-8%. And again, this is going to vary so much.
Yeah, depending
market to market. It's going to vary so much, right? But let's say I'm in a neighborhood where real estate just isn't valued as high, right? Like for example, where I'm buying a lot of the single families.
Okay.
And those multifamilies are trading at a 10% cap rate.
Okay.
Right.
So that would be good, right?
That'd be good for a lot of outside investors looking at it, but I can buy a house in that same zip code and get a 22% cap rate.
Okay.
Right. So for me, it's like, do I want this or do I want double the return and just stack them up?
But then is the benefit, because I'm trying to understand why an investor would go one or the other, right? Is the other benefit that they don't have to get a loan in their name?
You don't have to get a loan in your name
on single family either.
But
wait, how do you do it with single family?
You just would have to get you can get a DSCR loan, you can get a commercial loan, but you can get non-recourse debt, they call it. But there's all, you can get really fancy with the debt, and there's a lot of debt options for both. I like the debt on single families better. I don't plan to. I don't plan to ever default on any money I ever borrow, so I think the whole non-recourse thing's overrated. In my opinion, non-recourse meaning, okay,
if I get penalized,
you can take my business, but Sal Sortino's okay. I don't mind signing the personal guarantee. I'm not buying something to default. I'm buying something to hold it and make money. It's already gambling on myself every single time. So, of course you got to be smart, but the whole not wanting non-recourse debt, which is some people understand, it's just, I think it's an overrated thing. But the debt does matter. So, but to be honest with you, I want to sit down with a Grant Cardone or I don't know what Ryan buys upstairs. But somebody who's buying multifamily, not syndicating money, because I buy everything with my own money.
Okay. Everything with you, because then that is the other benefit. Yeah. Right?
So a lot of people raise money, they do all that. Yeah. I have a 50-50 partner, shout out Mario, on 47 units. The rest, and we put up the same amount of money, right? We do the same thing, but the rest, I all my self-funded the whole thing.
Yeah.
So for me, I would love to sit down with those people and just not ones that are syndicating money and doing all that. Yeah. Someone that's just buying apartment buildings. And I want them to just, I don't have that person to ask. I would love to sit down with them and actually ask. Maybe someone's going to watch this and explain to me why.
But you're saying somebody that uses all their own money.
Yeah. And just shows me.
I don't know if there's that many people.
Yeah. There might not be. I don't know. I don't know.
Where are you out there?
Right? Are you out there?
Well, because
I don't think I'm as
even Grant Cardone, he's not.
He raises his money, but he'll be able to tell me why. Like he'll be able to give me a breakdown of really why because he's big on it. He's big on more doors. Right. Big apartments versus houses. He says houses are dumb, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And I would just love to sit down with him and show him what I buy.
Yeah.
And then him tell me why what he's buying is better.
Yeah, I think that would be a good conversation.
Yeah, it would. I think it would be too.
Yeah.
I understand scale. Like I completely, I'm not naive to scale, right? Like that's important. But at the end of the day, if it takes me, he might say speed, right? Speed, you can buy this many, this many. But that's when you have unlimited cash. When you don't have unlimited cash, like I don't have unlimited cash.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be strategic with what I do. So if I can get double, triple, quadruple the rate of return by buying one a week, right? My goal is to buy a house a week. So if I can buy one a week,
so, but then you've got a property management company that like manages all these?
Yeah. So at the beginning of this year, I contracted a property management company to two of them, one for one county, one for the other county that I own all my holdings in. Before that, though, I self-managed everything.
What?
Not
170?
Not like Sal Sortino, but like my team. Like I did it all in-house. Yeah.
My good grief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a team of how many people?
Well, I had 4 people at the peak of that. But then basically I still have maintenance on staff and then property management companies. Wow. Yeah.
So, okay. So you don't have to give me like exact numbers, but roughly, can you kind of tell me how much those would cash flow like at this point that you're at?
Yeah, no, for sure. So total rent roll right now is just over $150,000 a month. Wow. In terms of cash flow down, this is before debt service.
Okay.
I borrow a lot of money. I borrow as much money as humanly possible. But before debt service, I run at right around a 30% expense ratio. So you can do, you know, so about what would that be? About 40, just over 40 $40,000 a month in expenses, I'd say, right? And so, you know, that leaves 100,000 left over.
Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah. Keeps the lights on.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have a lot of debt service I pay out of that though.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you have, so that's including all of your expenses.
Includes everything.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's taxes, insurance, that's everything. Yeah,
wow.
And a lot of people would probably say that's aggressive, and they might say I'm fibbing on that, but it really is right around 30%.
Well, if you have that many, you said 106.
I think it's 172 or 173.
But how long did it take you to get to that point of like where you're at right now?
Like in terms of doors, or
well, just I mean the progression of this, because you started with one rental making 1,000, like right, and then so then at the end of that year. I still only have that one. Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah. So the growth really happened. The real big growth I had like 40 units, which was a lot. You know, I was super proud of that. I was probably, I think I have a post on my Instagram. That was probably like five years ago, maybe. I had like 40 doors. And I felt like I was balling out of control. And I was for my age, you know?
Yeah.
I still want to meet someone my age. This is not to say they're not out there.
Yeah.
But I've never once met someone. This is not. I'm not trying to be braggadocious.
Yeah.
All right. I really want to meet someone that's done what I've done. There's got to be out there. I just.
Sure.
I go to these conferences. I haven't met anyone though that didn't raise money. You know.
Right. Me neither.
Yeah, and owns 100% of their company.
See, that's. You know, I do think that is
it's rare. Unique. Yeah. It's hard. You know, because you had to make money elsewhere. I was making money selling real estate, flipping houses.
Right.
So I'm sure there's someone out there that has to have done it, right? Because there's all these young guys making all this money wholesaling. They're out there. I know. I got a lot of buddies that are my age that would do way more wholesale deals than me. Have done way more transactions than me on the wholesale side that made printed money in wholesale, but they just might not. You get addicted to that check of quick check. So I want to meet someone that loves rentals the way that I did. But I got way off topic there. What was I just?
Well, yeah, because so you had to be patient
So that's what I was gonna say. I was at 40 doors. I got the 40 doors because I was a realtor. I was a high producing realtor for 2 years. You know, did 10 to 15 million in production my first year as a real estate agent. Yeah. My mom and I became like a mother and son real estate team. Yeah. We bought a real estate brokerage a year in, then built a real estate brokerage. So I was making good money there. Also, the whole time I was flipping houses. So I flipped multiple houses. I didn't even know what wholesaling was yet.
Okay.
So I was flipping houses, doing really well flipping houses, learning on the go. And long story short, I mean, I was literally taking every dollar I had and buying rental properties the entire, every single time.
Yeah.
And I was always a big believer in cash is trash. Like I was always a big believer that if I have cash, spend it on real estate. I wouldn't buy the dumb stuff, the watches, the jewelry, the stupid stuff.
You were disciplined.
Yeah, I wasn't away. People would probably laugh at me when they hear me say I was disciplined in my spending. But the truth is, I would buy a 4-unit. That 4-unit would print me out $2,000 a month. Well, that would pay for my Mercedes.
Yeah.
You know, so then I would literally buy assets to buy the things I'd want, you know? And that's just how I looked at things. And it really did compound. I literally talk about houses. My friends laugh like shoes because you buy a ton of shoes at the end of the year. Well, now I have 20 pairs of shoes. If you really believe in your philosophy and you're printing, number one, you got to have a cash machine. Right. The cash machine is my commissions. My cash machine was flipping houses, and that's building the wealth machine. That's the holding company. Right. But so I kept going all in. I got to like 40 doors. And at this point I discovered wholesaling. I started a wholesaling company. And I came across a whale of a deal, where I went under contract to buy a 36-unit apartment complex. If you go to my Instagram, I have a whole post about it. Off market. I would always tell this gentleman, hey, when you want to sell that building, I want it. When you want to sell that building, I want it. You know, I shot him a cold email one day. I drove by it and he goes, it's funny you reach out, Sal. I actually had someone make me an offer on the property the other day. I'm like, oh, interesting. You know, and so he reaches out to me. He goes, we start talking about numbers a little bit. And he basically tells me, you know, 1.2 million, I think it was. I'm using round numbers, and it's yours. And I remember I was like, whoa, this is a absolute deal at 1.2 million. Right. But I couldn't let him think I was giddy. I offered him $1 million. We ended up settling on 1.1 million, and he gave me 60 days to close. I had no idea. Now, don't get me wrong. I was doing really well for myself at this point. But I had never borrowed $1 million. I've never bought anything more than a 4-unit in my life. It's a big step up,
right?
You know, from $100,000 properties to $1 million property, completely different asset class. I got to about, I think it was like 2 weeks before closing. I put up $10,000 non-refundable. I could not get the loan. I had, I had reached out to probably, without exaggerating, definitely 20 plus, maybe 30 plus banks, institutions, people. Right, trying to buy this building, and I was smoking a cigar at a cigar lounge in Cleveland, and Joey's Ian Canati, if that's how I pronounce his last name, was sitting next to me. He was like, "Hey, actually, my dad works for this fund, and they just started lending money on real estate. You should call him. He might like that deal. They might loan you the money." So I call him. Basically, they say, "Yeah, we love that deal. We'll loan it to you. You got to come up with 20% down though, which was $220,000. I think I had like $228,000 because I just sold a flip.
Oh, right? So you had it.
I had,
but that was like all your money.
It was, which is a lot of money, right? Obviously, I was doing well for myself though.
Yeah.
But I went all in on the deal. I had under $10,000 left. I know that for a fact. After I bought that, so within 2 weeks before closing, I ended up finding the money, closed on it, and then I sold it 2 weeks later for 1.65.
Wow.
So I made $550,000. And that deal is what changed my life.
Yeah.
Because then I parlayed that into an off-market real estate portfolio that I paid $500,000 and I paid cash for, and then that appraised 6 months later for $900,000. So then I turned that, I cash out refinance, right, and got $700,000 out tax free from that. Boom, and then that's when I was going.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you just happened to be sitting next to some guy that.
Yeah, they got me the money. Yeah, and then they're actually.
Wow.
I'm partnered with them now. You know, I help them loan out money, but they loan every single deal I do on the front end to this day. So they're funding multiple deals a month for me still to this day.
Wild.
Yeah.
Like just being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, for sure. Talking. You know, talking to people.
Yeah.
You know, so many people give up after hearing one no. You know, the line I always say is whoever hears the most no's makes the most dough. And I think it would have been very easy for me to just say,
right,
this one ain't happening. but kept going, got it done. And that's ultimately, that was a huge, not like I said, I was doing well, but that gave me a huge catapult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
then you took that money and invested in a bunch of more.
Yep.
So you like acquired several more within a short span of time.
Well, what happened was, right, I bought that little portfolio. It was 10 units, I believe, that appraised for the 900 that I paid $500,000 for. Like I said, I cashed out that. So, and I cashed out refinance, 75% loan to value. I think it was, I got like 700 something thousand or something like that. From there, now I have the 10 units added to the 40 something I already have. So now I'm in my mid 50s in terms of door count, and I have 700,000 worth of ammunition in my bank account, plus what I already had to start going bananas with.
And if there's $75,000, you can get a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yep. So, and then just kept going. I love buying rental property. I think I think truly I'm addicted to it, whether it's good or bad, but I'm definitely addicted to it. I think I truly feel like I'm playing a game. I feel like I'm playing Monopoly in real life.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. I interact with my tenants a lot too, which is cool. Not as much as I used to, but just have had a lot of just fun scenarios and encounters, and just it's been wild to think that, I do remember saying my goal was to have 100 doors by the time I was 30.
Okay.
When I was just starting, and I remember even my mother, who is Mrs. You Can Do Anything, was like, that's a big goal, honey.
But you got there way before, because you're not even 30 yet.
Yeah. So
what's the new goal?
I don't know.
I think you got to make a new one now.
I do. My goal is really, I did a whole formula, but my goal is to buy 42 houses a year for the next 10 years is my goal. I'm sure it'll be more expedited than that. I'll find big packages that I'll buy, but that's really the formula right now. So I figure I buy a house a week, and then 10 weeks I miss out of the year. It leaves me at 42 houses a year. Just keep on going. That'll get me to where I want to go.
This is all you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's fun. It's cool. I got to keep making money to be able to do that. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So luckily, I'm involved in quite a few different businesses as well. I have a sales team in the life insurance business as well. So,
okay. I don't know that I knew about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yep. I actually have a coaching program coming out.
What is it?
Well, it's called the School of Section 8. Section 8 Sal, the instructor. That's why I rebranded the Instagram as that.
Yeah.
So,
what was your Instagram before?
Just my name.
Oh, okay. It was just
So look, catchy.
Yeah, no, I like
little
it.
Change.
Yeah. So when does this launch?
It's supposed to launch at July 1, so right around the corner.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. We was gonna launch June 15th, pushed it back, so I wanted it to be perfect. So
tell me what they get in this program.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have 3 options for everybody.
Okay.
What I'm most excited about is the community. I want to build a big community of just people that want to learn how to build wealth the way that I have.
Yeah.
And so like I said, I have 3 options. Number 1 is going to be a course and community, right? So you can get a course online that I made. I put a lot of effort into it, so it's pretty special to me. I learned a lot from courses. I know sometimes courses,
me too.
Courses get a bad rap on the internet. I've learned so much from them. I think people just don't take action.
Right. So I think that's so true.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you. I think that most people say, yeah, don't make a course because nobody's going to follow through with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, maybe the majority won't, but there's going to be people like you that will, and they're going to appreciate it.
100%. So I have a course, and that also you could become a part of the community with that, which is, I think that's where you're going to get the most value.
Sure.
Because I'm going to be on there. I'm going to be doing live webinars on there. I'm going to be active in there, answering questions, as well as a lot of my colleagues who are super successful are going to be involved.
Yeah.
On top of that, we're going to have a deal analyzer call once every 2 weeks where you can send in deals. We might pick your deal to look at, analyze together. My whole dispo team for my wholesale operation will be showing deals to people that are off market, like deals that I would buy that they could buy. So you're going to get exclusive access to some deals as well, which I think is super cool. And then I'm also going to be doing, like, I see you guys have the workshop set up here. I really want to start doing 2-day workshops in person in Ohio. Just because I think when you know, touch it, feel it is different, right? When I can take you to come to my office, have a workshop, maybe hear from some appraisers, some property managers, whatnot, the people that I actually work with on a day-to-day basis, and actually show you, I own this property, I own this property, I own this property, right? I think you'll have a different outlook on the business when you actually see it.
Totally.
You know, every creator that right now that I see that's teaching people about what I do, and specifically like the niche of buying affordable housing opportunities, right, at scale, they all just throw their Lamborghinis and their Bentleys in your face, and it's like, well, I mean, I could do that, right? I mean, I got all the cool stuff, right? But in my eyes, it's like, I look at you, I'm there, I'm like them, right? I mean, I've had a lot of success in the business, but like, if I was a kid, like, oh, that's cool, but why not show me the properties go to the properties you're buying, man. Show me that. Show me the rent roll. Show me, you know, your HUDs. Show me something. You know, everyone's so obsessed with this flash, and I get it. That might be what works for them. That might be what sells. So I don't knock the hustle.
The dream is what sells.
But it's like, man, that to get to that level, I've been doing this for a decade, like literally 10 years. This does not happen overnight. You know, 100% does not happen overnight. If you don't fall in love with the process and everything else that comes along the way, the Ferraris and the Rolls Royces is never going to come, you know? So I think everyone it shows all that. And I feel like it gives us this get rich quick kind of scheme in a way when they do that. And the reality is with what I do, it's never going to be get rich quick. Like, I want that to be very clear. But what it is it's get rich for sure. You know, I'm like telling you, if you listen and you do it and you buy and you buy and you buy and you have a formula that has worked for me, you know, all I can tell you is it worked for me, you know, and it's worked for a lot of people that I know. And it's a simple process. So like I said, it's not get rich quick, but certainly if you put the time, the effort, and put your money where your mouth is and swing the bat and take action, it's get rich for sure. The problem is everyone loves the term knowledge is power, you know, and I agree with it to a certain extent. Right. But if you watched my course and someone else, let's call him Michael, watched my course, right? And Michael doesn't take action. He's got the knowledge. But he doesn't take the action. And then you have the knowledge as well, but you take the action.
I could even have less knowledge.
Exactly.
Right? But if I took action.
So action is powerful.
For sure.
You know? So at the end of the day, it just got me off on a tangent because I think about these course creators and it just, you know, they just sometimes paint the wrong picture. So, but again, I got a lot of value out of courses. I watched Brent Daniels' course, you know, my boy Donnie Ruffin's, like I learned a lot about wholesaling through courses. And so I'm passionate about it. Cause like you said, maybe the majority of people aren't going to take the action. Unfortunately, I'd love for everyone to take action, but the fact of the matter is they're probably not. But the one person that does, like I can tell you 10, 18-year-olds right now that DM me every month, right? I need help. I want to learn. I want to learn from you. I want to learn from you. Wow. I guarantee you those 10 kids, when I give them that link, I guarantee you they go and they end up taking action. Guarantee it. Because I can just tell. I can just tell by how they're maneuvering, how they're acting, what they're saying, questions they're asking. Good questions get good results. I mean, good questions get good answers. Good answers get good results, right? So I'm big on that. But so I'm going to have the course, the community, 2-day workshop. And then I'm also offering a one-on-one mentorship as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How much is that going to be?
Well, that one,
Or do you know?
I do. I'm going to charge $20,000 for that.
Oh, I think that's a deal.
Yeah. And I'm actually probably.
Is that for like a year?
For a year.
Oh yeah, people better sign up right now.
I'm selling
pre-sale.
I'm selling 20 of them, but if they follow me on social media, there's probably gonna be a little discount when it drops. So even from that, so
Really?
yeah,
Dang.
yeah.
Get into the first round, I guess. That's like the takeaway here. 20,000, that's so cheap.
I mean, for me, I want to add as much value. I want to make sure that you feel at the end of that it was worth 10 times that, you know, and I feel like I don't.
What's the most you've spent on mentorship program one-on-one?
Not much. I haven't.
What?
I can't. Yeah.
You haven't? You're kidding me.
I'm blessed though. I'm blessed because I use my resources. So I get a lot of mentorship for free. But I if I had to start all the way over, it would be a completely different scenario.
I mean, you know what they say, right? Like, if you want people to pay you a lot for mentorship, you got to pay someone else.
I'm willing to do it. Someone point me in the right direction.
Ryan,
who I can
upstairs.
Learn. I should talk to Ryan, but but truthfully, like I talked to you about it at one point. I talked to plenty of people who also said the same thing as you. They think that's extremely cheap for what I'm offering. Okay.
It is.
But I feel like I need to earn the right.
But I like where your head's at.
I got to earn the right to charge that in a way, in my opinion. Also, this is all new to me, this whole coaching program. Sure. Okay. So I want to create
an experience
and an amazing amount of value. Okay. Yeah. The money I make is truly secondary for any business. You know, you have to build up, right? So I'm like, well, this is a startup, right? Yeah. We'll see what happens.
How much is it to get into the actual, or the course and community?
That's going to be that's another thing that's up in the air right now, but pre-launch is going to be $1,000 for the course. Okay. $100 a month for the community.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. 2-day workshops, $3,000 a person.
Okay. So I think, all right.
That's where I'm at with it.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you'll get serious people coming to the workshop.
100%. Yeah. I don't want unserious people coming to the workshop. Also, you have to qualify to come to the workshop and for the one-on-one. Okay. You know, you have to qualify for it because this is the other reason why I wasn't charging so much for the one-on-one to start. Number one, I want to be able to help the followers out that have followed me for a long time. That's number one. And I know that if I made it too expensive, a lot of people that I want to help aren't going to participate, right? Yeah. Secondly, this game that I play takes money. Okay, you can't buy real estate. A lot of people train you, you know, on raising.
Oh, so they need some money, to play.
Exactly.
Right, that makes sense.
So if I'm charging you all this money,
you're taking all their money, then how are they going to play the game?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that makes
sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like they got to have more than 20K. They got to have like 50K. Probably.
For the one-on-one. At least.
Because then they can't.
It's a waste of money. I'm not going to let someone waste their money.
Yeah, because you can't do anything.
You have to qualify. If you qualify and then my team thinks you qualify, you know, then we can work together. But it really is a capital required business.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these guys, again, these other gurus are telling people you can buy it for this, buy it for that, because they're pitching are you familiar with seller financing at all?
Is that's like the Pace Morby?
Somewhat. Yeah. Pace kills it with the sub 2 deals. But the fact of the matter is some of these guys are coaching people on rentals and for seller financing where you can put no money down or a few $1,000s down. Can that happen? Yeah, that can happen for sure. But it's hard to scale off of that. I know Pace did it with sub 2 deals, but I haven't personally met anyone that has scaled their entire portfolio through seller financing using that much little money down in each deal. So I think the way to look at it is we're buying for cash flow. We're going to teach you a tried and true formula that works. You know, it does take money, but once you have money and you want to start building wealth, this is where you learn how to do it.
Okay, I'm just thinking of some podcasts you need to get on before you launch this thing. Okay. So like for sure Brian's. Okay. He would, I think, love to have you because his is all about real estate. And then Kevin Cho. I always want to say his name wrong, but he's one of Pace's guys. Okay. And he's young. I think he's only 23.
Oh, wow.
And he's done very well. and he's in Phoenix, I think, but he comes here a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should like come back to Vegas and then go to Arizona. And then there's some other people that I'm thinking
Let's do
of
it.
too.
I want to do it. I want to go on.
Because if you get on all those other podcasts, I think that would be really great.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to get on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not as in tune with that world yet. You know, that's what this is all, I think is going to put me into, you know.
Well, I'll plug you in for all the podcasts for sure.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think I really enjoy helping people. I love talking to people. I like to have fun. I think, you know, going on podcasts, learning from other people is really cool. Just learning about what other people do.
Are you? Oh wait, you're not coming to WealthCon in July. No. It's our last one. You should come to that.
When is it?
July 19th through 21st at Caesar's Palace.
Well, maybe I will.
You should come because I'm actually gonna take all this stuff and I'm gonna set it up in my room, and so you could do a bunch of mini podcasts with people because they're all going to be there at the same time.
Yeah.
And then I could introduce you to the ones I think you should connect with.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because there's like 1,000 people there. Yeah.
Oh,
and it's heavily focused on real estate this time. Sometimes we'll have like, you know, more stuff on content creation and that, but this is like mainly all real estate. Yeah. So Brandon Turner will be there, Andy Elliott,
Andy Elliott's a savage.
Right? But trying to remember who else. Bunch of real estate guys. I don't know. Yeah. Carlos Reyes.
Yep. I met Carlos.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, you probably know all the guys. Like
yeah, I probably know a decent amount of them. But yeah, like I'm new to that scene, you know. And actually, I would shout out. You do know Donovan Ruffin? He was the first event you're at. No, okay. So Donnie's the man.
It's so funny. Like I didn't know half the people at that event. Yes. I was so new.
So Donnie's the man, and you know, I went to that conference, and I was kicking it with him. He had invited me to come down, and he basically told me like, because I just started creating content. I wasn't creating content to sell anything. I've been creating content for 2.5 years.
Yeah, you were
and I've never sold anything. Yeah. You know, like it was all about just documenting the journey, having fun, but more importantly. Which I want people to know what I do for a living because I've made a lot of money through social media.
Right.
Not from selling a product, not from
just
getting
building
paid,
relationships.
Just from building relationships and letting every single person know that I buy real estate. I get so many deals before anyone else sees them.
Yeah.
All because of my social media. So I started doing that, and Donovan specifically told me, he's like, man, you I think you got what it takes, man. You're up next. If you ever want to start coaching or anything like that, I think you really you got it. And I kind of took that to heart when he said that because he's super successful in the wholesale space. So I really respect him, and hearing that I was like, I might need to focus up and really swing the bat at that. So here we are.
I think you'll do very well. Yeah.
We'll see.
I think that you're I mean, I don't know you that well, but you seem to really care about helping people.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that that's what it takes. Like, because you said it, you know, fall in love with the process.
Yeah.
Like you're not just it's not about the money. It's about the movement of like helping people.
Yeah. And I think about how when I started, you know, I was very self-taught. My parents would tell you, I was watching every YouTube video you can think of on the internet, Googling everything. I was never a big reader. So like I was always I was a YouTube guy, YouTube University for sure. Taught me so much. And I just think about if I had the right teacher, right? I'm very blessed. I've achieved a lot in my life, but I feel like I could have very much shrunken it in half. I could get to where I'm at in half as much time if I knew a lot of what I know, and if I had a lot of the resources I have. That's what my community is gonna absolutely, I think, gonna love the most is the resources that I'm sharing. Like I'm sharing resources that people gatekeep.
Right.
So that alone is worth one of those resources I'm giving, specifically like in the lending side of things. It's hard to find the perfect lending relationship in that space. So, but yeah, I'm really excited about it for sure.
So, and you're planning on making YouTube videos too?
Yeah.
Right? Or do you already do that?
I do YouTube videos already.
Okay, good. I was going to say, I feel like that would be really good.
I do. I kind of went away from I was posting a YouTube video every Sunday, like a vlog, just a vlog style
Mm-hmm.
in the life of me as a real estate guy.
Okay.
You know, it was just very much just real, authentic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the field working. And then kind of went away from those, and just was all shorts, you know, clipping up everything. And I've never done like just looked at the camera
Oh.
and coached on
Okay.
YouTube videos. It's always just been in the life. Like you're seeing me do, I'm breaking down the deals.
I feel like it could be good if you looked up real specific things that people are looking
Searching. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then like a 10-minute video
Yeah.
addressing that specific thing.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, because
I
that would
agree
be
with you.
great to like lead into your webinar or you know, whatever
Yeah.
freebie and
Yeah, you're right.
different things,
For sure.
because they're you, right?
Yeah.
Searching.
Yeah.
I need somebody to help me learn this.
Yeah.
And then if your video pops up, then yeah.
The other thing that really inspired me to get into the coaching
Mm-hmm.
is my little cousin, who I'm actually out here. I'm out
Oh,
here
that's
with.
the birthday.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just turned 21. Big birthday, but he's been like my mentee, right?
Mhm.
Since he went to college for like a month. He broke his leg playing football, dropped out, came to work with me, and he was like a sponge, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And watching him turn from knowing nothing. Like I remember teaching him about a mortgage. He thought that you paid the seller of the property for 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, even when you get the money from you're paying the bank, he feels like they're really okay with you paying them back over 30 years like that. And it was just so funny from that to now, like I actually value his opinion.
Yeah.
3 years
That's so
later,
cool.
like I literally will call him and ask him his opinion on deals, right?
Yeah.
That's like, I can't think of anything cooler than that.
Yeah.
You know, I taught, not to give myself that much credit, but I mean, I taught the kid every single thing that I know about real estate and everything that he knows about real estate, right?
Yeah.
So to know that from that, he turned into someone whose opinion I respect in real estate is crazy. And then along that journey, I just realized like I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed helping him and seeing the growth there. But he asked such good questions.
Yeah.
That's what I realized is I love when someone asks good questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm really looking forward to Q&As and webinars with the community, because can I sit there and just talk and talk and talk? Yes, but you know, you're going to ask a question that I'm probably slipped through the cracks of what I'm saying, you know, and then that's going to get the best answer. And I get excited when someone asks a question that's a good one. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't even thought to answer that until you asked it. So he always did that. So I'm looking forward to just a lot more of it. You know, I've helped a lot of people along the way too, besides him, that now are taking a lot of action. It's just fun to see. I don't think anything gets me more excited. I taught a kid how to send mailers to homeowners, and in his first batch, we got a deal.
Yeah.
And that was he's interning with me right now for summer internship. Shout out Carter. And we're about to have our first deal from that, which is super cool to see. I just love seeing what I say. Actually, sometimes I'm like, man, I really do know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like this
well,
word.
It's nothing more rewarding than seeing someone else like grow, I think, because we all just like want to make a contribution. Yeah. You know? And you're like, it's not just me, right? Like other people can do it if they follow the steps.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. For sure.
No, I think that's awesome. So we got to get you on more podcasts, coaching program launching in July 1st.
Yep.
And it's called
School of Section 8.
School of Section 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting
It
stuff.
is.
So I can't wait to watch it all unfold.
I'm excited too.
I think it's going to do very well. So we'll be watching this podcast, Create with Kate, before you blow up in the coaching scene and you're the Section 8 guru.
We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully.
I think it's going to happen.